know, you remember a couple of days ago, I think it was like Saturday or Sunday. I said, I just sat down, I have an interview.
Yeah.
And I said, it's going to be the interview of 24.
Oh, yeah.
I said, he's going to break the internet. And people are like, well, who is it? They're trying to, who is it going to be? Is it going to be LeBron? Is it going to be President Obama?
Right.
I said, but this guy and what he said, I said it's gonna surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
The internet of the year. I mean, internet. Yo, I'm smacked already. Thank Club Shay Shay for the interview of the year, early 2024. It is going to set the standard for all interviews. Watch out, Vlad. Watch out, Adam 22. Watch out, everybody that does these interviews, because Club Shay Shay, aka Shannon Sharpe, one of the greatest tight ends to ever grace the NFL, has set the standard for interviews going forward the rest of this year. I don't think it's going to be possible to top this one with Katt unless you bring on Barack Obama, Donald Trump. It's got to be somebody crazy for the interview to break the internet the way that Katt Williams and Uncle Shay did. I believe that was Wednesday that the interview was released. It was actually recorded, I believe, sometime in December, but the actual interview was released earlier this year. I said that like the year been started. Earlier this year, though.
And the interview that I'm talking about, is everybody's talking about it, is the Katt Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to line this interview up since about the end of 2022.
Yes, sir.
And he's like, I don't know when I'm going to be on your side of town.
Yeah.
But I'll keep that. I'll keep that in mind.
Wait, now, so you had this brewing? You had this brewing since 2022?
I've been trying to set it up. So basically all the 20. I ended up getting this interview at the very tail end of 23. So I'm sitting on that like, man, and I'm telling CJ and I was talking. He's like, what do you think? He's like, it's gonna happen. I was like, I don't know. I said, all I can do is reach out. I can ask.
Right.
And he hit me back. Let's do it. And I remember telling, I said, CJ, Katt Williams people hit me up and say they want to do it. He's like, for real? I was like, yeah, for real. I said, whatever we got, so whatever we have planned, I don't like them. I said, let's just clear it out, because I don't know what day. It might be a Tuesday, it might be a Wednesday, it might be a Thursday, it might be a Friday. But clear it out, because whenever the guest is available, let's do it. Right. I did Chris Brown's interview at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night at his place. Right. So there's not.
So if y'all get the gist of what's going on here, this is Nightcap with Ocho Cinco. He has Shay on the interview right now, basically going over what him and Katt discussed, what it was like being in the room with him, what it was like interviewing him. Did he know that this was going to happen? How long he's been having this said interview in the works? And it seems like he'd been planning this for a minute, and he knew it was going to break the internet, but I don't think he expected anything like this. He said him and Steve Harvey broke the internet. They hit 9 million views on the podcast, if you want to call it that. I would call it that. What else? Who else hit? Even him and Ricky Smiley said hit 3 million. So, it's not just Katt, y'all. It is that Shay has built a platform where people do feel comfortable telling their truth. And people like the candidness and the raunchiness and the rawness of the show. Shay allows you to be you, give you a couple drinks and some yak, might smoke a cigar with you, and the environment is very lax and it's very chill, but it's also very raw and real, and I think that everybody likes it. I actually watched the entire interview. I went on the live and saw the interview, and it was almost 100,000 people in there when I went in there. I was like, damn. I don't remember a live like that I've been in that had that type of crowd in it. 100,000 is wild. 100,000, what do you say, 125,000 when you say check the live? And that's just on YouTube. I don't know what other platforms Shannon Sharpe uses for Club Shay Shay. I don't know if he's on Twitch. I don't know if he does Facebook Live, Instagram. I don't know if he multicasts. But what I will say is they went outrageously crazy for a live stream. I've never seen a live stream with that many people. And it was just phenomenal. It's going to be a hard act to follow, y'all, for sure. So if y'all didn't see the interview, I suggest that y'all check that joint out. It was bananas. Katt Williams was telling us everything that we always wanted to know. He was hitting us with jokes, hitting us with real shit, as you know, Katt Williams to do. I mean, he was just him. And that's all you can say. I mean, it goes back to that radio interview he did where he cooked this he cooked this older black woman on this interview, and it was just ridiculous. And it just lets you know how funny, hilarious, talented, just off the top of the head, just naturally funny that Katt Williams is. And he's a force to be reckoned with. And they showed you that on Club Shay on Wednesday. So I definitely recommend y'all check out the interview. I'm going to put a link to it in the description so y'all can just click that link and make sure y'all check it out. But for the time period we got y'all, I'm representing the Out Here podcast right now. Make sure y'all like the goddamn video. Subscribe to the channel. We about to go in on this interview next, but right now I just wanted y'all to kind of get a story or a hindsight of how Shannon Sharpe felt after the interview.
At a time that in which if I'm not working at First Take, that I'm not available.
Right.
So if you want to do it at midnight, we'll have a team there to shoot that footage at midnight.
That's live.
So he comes in. So I get there. I try to get there a little bit before the guest. CJ we might have some last minute. Okay, CJ. Okay, I kind of got a feeling of kind of how I want to go. I've moved some things around from the questions that you came up with and I came up with, but I've moved some of the stuff around because I think it just feels better. When I was going over this last night, it just felt better to go in this sequence. He's like, okay, hey, I trust you. You trust me. Just go with your feel.
Yeah.
So I get there. I'm getting mic'd up and I'm just talking. And he comes in. So he's already on one. He says, I've been waiting a whole year.
Right.
To say my piece.
The right space and platform to say his piece.
Yes. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, Shannon left so much on the table. Shannon is not a journalist. I've never said I was a journalist.
Right.
If you listen in my intro, I said, normally what I say, the person that's coming by for conversation and a drink, I'm a conversationalist, not an interviewer. It's a different space. He said, you've allowed other people a very safe place. That's why we like coming.
Keyword, safe.
Safe place.
Safe place.
I've also said on numerous occasions, if you want 60 minutes, if you want Dateline, if you want 48 hours, I'm not the place for you. Go to those places and get those type of interviews. Go to Lester.
I think that is the reason why a lot of people like checking out the Club Shay Shay podcast, because he's not Dateline 60 minutes. He's not there to batter the guests. He's there to ask the questions he wants to ask, have a conversation, let them be themselves. And if you let them be themselves, they'll tell you what you want to know. And if they don't, then that's the experience you had. But that's it. That's how Shannon Sharpe comes at being an interviewer. He says he's not a journalist. That's never been his intention. He wants to have the best and biggest celebrities that he can have on his platform come on, speak their truth, have a drink with them, and just talk. It may come off like an interview because that's what's entertaining to people, but he's not claiming to be an interviewer. He's not claiming to be a journalist. None of that. He's just saying that that's what he's trying to do. But what I will say is you can tell that he's very versed in it because he names a list of journalists that are good at their job. And obviously he has knowledge of those people. So you can tell that even though he's not claiming to be one of those people, he studied the game, and that's why he's good at what he does.
Go to Nora O'Donnell. Go to I'm not Mike Wallace, rest his soul. I'm not Ed Bradley, rest his soul. Or Dan Rather or Walter Cronkite, rest their soul. Tom Brokaw. That's not who I am.
Right.
So if you want those type of interviews, you need to go to places that have those type of interviews.
Right.
Now, the problem is Katt Williams was my 102nd interview conversation on Club Shay Shay. He was the 102nd. Nobody said anything. Oh, but Shannon, you left this on the bone. I've had Magic Johnson. I've had Steve Harvey. I've had Michael Blackson. I've had Cedric the Entertainer. I've had DC Youngfly. I've had a lot of people. Nobody said anything about pushback and follow-up questions until I got Katt Williams on. And this thing took off like wildfire. And the people that's commenting is like, you got 200 followers. You can't be a journalist with 200 followers.
Right.
Because even people that don't know the journalists, they got at least.
I feel slighted by Shannon because we only got like 200 some followers. And I never claimed to be a journalist, but he like, you can't be nobody with 200 followers. Like, damn, Shannon. Let the little guy prevail for a bit. We got opinion too. Not everybody that's a journalist got 5K, 50K, 100K. Shout out to you on 1.9 million. And I'm not sure where you were before the interview, but I would love to do a comparison of before the interview and after. Like I said, Shannon Sharpe is Shannon Sharpe. He's already had the following before the interview, but I'm sure he gained like a couple 100,000 subscribers after the interview because it's already at 16 million in less than it's going on like two days. So the interview was 2 days ago now. It was released 2 days ago now, excuse me. And it's already at 16 million. Now, you're going to find out here because I've already watched this, that Shannon Sharpe projects that the interview will reach 20 million by Wednesday of next week. He's already at 16 million today. I believe this interview came out late last night, early this morning, this between nightcap, so probably late last night, on the verge of early this morning. So this interview probably came out around a little over 12 hours ago, probably 13, 14 hours ago. And in that time frame, he's already hit another 5 million views on the interview. He said he's getting around 500,000 views on it an hour. So I think that he'll beat projection. I don't think it'll take another, what are we at? Friday now, another 5 days for him to hit the 4 million views that he'll need. My projection, and it don't mean nothing because who the fuck am I, but my projection is that that interview will probably hit like 30 million by next Wednesday.
4,000 or 5,000.
Right.
You're upset that he said everything that he said, and he said it on my platform.
Right.
And now it's bringing attention to my platform. Just like I've had Ricky Smiley on. I've had Steve Harvey. You didn't say anything. I didn't push back about Steve when he said things about in his marriage. You didn't say a word.
No.
When he spoke about his daughter, you didn't say a word.
Right.
I asked Cedric about did he steal Katt Williams' joke. You didn't say, Shannon, you didn't follow it up. I've asked Ricky Smiley, volunteered. He said, I didn't ask him. He said that he was originally supposed to play Money Mike and Katt was supposed to play Santa Claus.
Right.
He said that. You never said a word about follow-up questions, and I left so much on the bone. It wasn't until this video, which is almost at about 11 million views in less than 48 hours. Yes.
Woo.
Now, mind you,
what I found remarkable and was dope about YouTube is that even stars like Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco, legendary football players, everybody knows who they are if you in the sports world or even outside of that because of the names they made for themselves. Both very flamboyant, very marketable people, right? So when you look at both of them and you see that even something as like 16 million views or 11 million views is wild to them, and it's people that's regular people now that are able to get those type of views, maybe not 11 million in 48 hours. That's kind of absurd, but there are people that get those type of views without that background. So it's almost like leveling the playing field. I checked out the nightcap, by Ocho Cinco, and shout out to him. He's been able to build a fantastic platform, but he's put in the work though. Like Ocho Cinco and them, because it's not just him, but mostly him and his constituents on that show, they have like hundreds of videos, if I'm not mistaken, maybe like 700 videos, and they're at just under 700K subscribers, which is phenomenal. But when you think Ocho Cinco, you like, man, Ocho Cinco should be here and here. Not to come at him and the platform he's built. I'm sure he's making a great living off of it. I'm sure he just does it for fun and a little extra money on the side, probably to buy a Lamborghini when he feel like it. So no shade to him, and I ain't nobody to be able to shade him. I'm just saying YouTube really equals the playing field. Like just because you're famous outside of YouTube does not necessarily mean you'll have a following bigger than a no name that put in the work and just got popular on YouTube. It's really the equalizer.
Ocho, Steve Harvey's done 9 million views.
Yeah.
Who else? DC Youngfly is at 4 million. Ricky Smiley over 3 million. Magic Johnson over 2 million. I mean, a lot of these videos have gone viral and had viral moments. Nothing is caught fire like this.
Right.
This is what's upsetting them because first of all, he wasn't going to go on it because they don't know. He doesn't want to be. He wants to have a conversation. He says, you've allowed everybody else to come up here and say their piece.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for me, Ocho, as the interviewer, was the way he started. My thing was, do I interrupt him and get this thing back on track, or do I let him go?
See, when you're interviewing somebody like that, and with the safe place that you do call it, the fact that it's Katt Williams or Cedric Entertainer, or any of these polarizing, iconic figures, you have to let them get their piece and say what they need to say. That's the whole point of you having a platform, and him willing to come on your platform to be able to do an interview and tell his truth. Is you got to let him go. You can't steer it. You can't steer this one.
And so he did 30 minutes before I asked anything. Where you from? How this? Your dad, your mom, brothers and sisters. But he wanted to get that off his chest. And people say, no. He says the truth doesn't need motivation.
Oh no.
That's what he said. He said the truth doesn't need motivation.
It never.
That was some profound type shit that Katt Williams said at the time, but obviously he was motivated because he said the reason that he was able to say what he said without being messy is because people spoke their truth, which ended up being a falsehood he's claiming prior. If those people hadn't said anything, he probably wouldn't even have done this interview, let alone brought their names up in the interview. So I think that though that was a nice little saying, I don't think it was true. I think it was a bit disingenuous. I think the fuel behind it was the fact that those people had spoken his name or something that was adjacent to him at the time, and he wanted to set the story straight and get his point of view across.
There's God's way, and there's that. And if it's not God, it's the wrong way. So while all you guys said, well, Shannon, you needed a follow-up question with what? I said I didn't ask no follow-up question when said he didn't steal the joke.
Right.
That's not for me to decide. You decide. You decide who do you agree with.
So let me know what y'all decide in the comments. What do y'all think? Who do you agree with? If y'all know from back in the day, Katt Williams used to be on Comedy Central. I didn't mean to say Comedy Central. I meant to say Comic View. Back in the day, BET's Comic View. I wish it came back in a big way. It was fire. I used to watch it with my mother back in the day when I used to get to stay up late on the weekends. And I remember those memories. Comics, which they are artists, like Katt Williams being on. And D-Ray was one of my favorites that was on. And Bruce, the best host on there. He hosted twice, I believe, or maybe even 3 times. Maybe even more than that. Excuse me if I'm incorrect, but just some real dope comedic moments on the show, and it was real raw. And it was times like, and Katt Williams will tell you on the interview that we're gonna pull up. So don't back out yet, y'all. We're going to get to the actual interview and the crux of the matter, and we're going to talk about the responses of people that was actually mentioned in their interview. You got Kevin Hart, he had something to say. Michael Blackson, he had something to say. For some reason, Ludacris had something to say in a freestyle, or people are alluding that Ludacris was talking about Katt Williams. He mentions addiction. It's a lot going on, so we're definitely going to get into that. But definitely shout out to Shay, shout out to Ocho Cinco for doing this recap that we all kind of needed after the energy expent on this interview, because it has been big, and everywhere you look, you're going to see it. So don't fault me for reacting to it, because everybody else is.
That's not my decision to make.
Right.
I told you when I first started this, my very first interview was my brother. I said, my job, I'm going to try to bring you some of the biggest celebs, entertainers, and athletes that I can possibly bring. And I'm going to allow them to have a conversation and maybe tell you something or share something with you, Ocho, that they've never said, or they've said it such a long time ago you don't remember it. But I want that entertainer, that celeb, or that athlete to share some things with you and give you a different glimpse of who they are, he or she. That was it. I never said I was a journalist. I never professed to be a journalist. I'm an entertainer. I have entertainers.
Bro, I already know how you feel about that. Shout out to Will Maddock in the comments. It's my brother in real life.
60 Minutes is the platform from you. Dateline, 48 Hours. Go to Lester Holt. Go to somebody that does that.
This you got to understand. Those aren't safe places. Those aren't places where you can get what you want to say off.
Right.
They dictate everything.
Yes. So
when you go that route.
Ocho, you make a great point. So let me ask you this. You think Katt Williams was going to open up as much as he did on any other platform?
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
If you go back
not.
and look, what's the longest? I mean, when we look at it, what's the longest interview he had done? Katt. Now, mind you, I haven't seen anything he posted on his social media page since 2020. Since 2020.
Right.
That's 4 years ago.
That's
no
a long
post.
time. But I mean, Katt don't need YouTube, so I get it.
Yeah.
It ain't like he need YouTube.
Nobody else. I mean, the whole point is it's almost like barbershop talk. Being able to sit down with you. Listen, I sat down with you and we talked. You had to kick me. You had to kick me out.
Yeah.
You had to kick me out when I did Club Shay Shay because I was in such a
you like, we done?
We're gonna skip through this.
I was ready to go.
Saw him the other night at another function. Showed me his cars, had conversation with him.
Yeah.
We're friendly.
Yeah. This was Shannon
Earthquake and I.
About how he cool with
I
Kevin
met
Hart,
Earthquake
Michael
about
Blackson,
6-7 years ago.
Harvey and all
We've been cool ever since. He called. Sometimes Earthquake would just text me, brother. I just called to say I love you. Keep doing your thing. Shine, shine, King. Shine, big, shine, black man. Stuff like that. Hey, I got this thing. I got this. I'm at this comedy. Hey, swing through if you get a chance to.
Right.
So he and I have a different type of relationship than the other guys.
Right.
But do I talk to Steve Harvey? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have he invited me to his farm in Atlanta? Yes. He invited me to it. I think it's Dubai. He has a golf tournament Thanksgiving. Hey, I want you to come. So I have a great relationship. So it's hard on me.
Yeah. I listen. I understand. I totally understand where you're coming from. But obviously, when truth is being told, you just the moderator in between, giving the individual the space to tell their truth. That's it.
Yes.
There's no hard feelings towards those that you already know, whether you know them personally or whether you just know them as associates. And I really enjoyed it in the fact that you give us a space to be able to tell our truth. On your,
why didn't you ask Ricky this? I said, Katt, normally when people are giving you information that you've never heard or no one else has ever spoken, you feel that he was in that situation. He's giving you pertinent information. I have no reason to believe Ricky Smiley is lying to me.
Right.
Just like when you say something, when you telling me this, and this. Now, I knew that he was homeless because I talked to Terry Crews. I've known Terry Crews. Terry Crews was on the team with my brother in back at 91.
Right.
So I know T. Crews.
Right.
And he was on the movie. He was a fill-in in Training Day. His actual role was, if I'm not mistaken, was next Friday. So I have a relationship with T. Crews. And so for me, that was the hardest part, is to hear things. But I said, you know what? I didn't expect, I knew it was a good end. I knew.
Oh yeah.
I kind of knew, but I didn't know.
Now there's Katt Williams. Now there's certain people that you can get that can move the needle. Now there are certain people you can get that can move the needle and move it big.
Ocho, this thing is doing about 500,000 views an hour.
Damn.
I knew it. I thought it would. CJ told me it's going to be bigger than Steve Harvey. At the time, Steve Harvey was about 8.8 million.
Whoa. Where was I at?
You behind time. You and time are tied at 5.8 million.
Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back on Club Shay Shay. I got some controversy to talk about. Yeah, I'm finna outdo Katt. Fuck this.
unless you show up butt naked, I don't know if you can do it. I don't know if you can beat Katt, because Katt's almost at 11 million and we're not even 48 hours in. And so I remember rapping the interview. Now, mind you, Ocho, I still got 20 to 30 minutes worth of questions left.
Right.
The interview is 2 hours, 46 minutes, and 5 seconds. And we didn't cut anything.
You know the exact time of this joint.
And
this is big.
And I remember finishing up, and I look back. CJ is always sitting behind me, and I remember looking at CJ, and he's shaking his head. And I
want to get into something that Ocho Cinco brought up, and I don't know if I skipped past it. But Ocho Cinco was basically saying that he knows Katt Williams personally, that he has stories about Katt Williams that never been released. And he doesn't get onto that on that clip of the interview. Maybe I can find that during the stream. So if y'all want to see that, let me know in the comments. But at some point, Chad is talking about Katt Williams having stories about him. I don't know if these are positive or negative stories, y'all. I don't know. Y'all gonna have to watch the interview. I'm gonna put that in the description below too, so y'all can check it out. But apparently, he has some stories about Katt Williams that nobody knows either. And it seems like, I mean, he in the industry too. I'm sure there's plenty of stories about him that have gotten around. I'm sure that Ocho Cinco, he wouldn't have said nothing if he didn't really experience it. If he wasn't there, he wouldn't have said that something happened. He would have said it was speculation. So that's the type of nigga he is. Let me see if I can find in here where he mentions that.
He's like, Shannon, this gonna break the internet. I
Let me
said,
know
you
if y'all
think
can
so?
hear it.
He's like,
Yeah.
Shannon. He's like, Shannon.
Yeah.
So Jordan's shaking his head. He's looking at me like, everybody, the makeup,
Right.
everybody's looking like,
Right.
I was like, man, okay, this says is that good? Okay, I'm gonna take it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you in it, Ocho, you in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't, I mean, and so information,
Right.
I have no reason.
We not only did you have Katt Williams, but it's going to be somebody else after that. It's going to be somebody else after that, and it's going to continue.
Than the other guys.
Right.
But do I talk to Steve Harvey? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Than the other guys.
Right.
But do I talk to Steve Harvey?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have he invited me to his farm in Atlanta? Yes. He invited me to it. I think it's Dubai. He has a golf tournament.
Appreciate the love, y'all, in the comments. Make sure y'all comment, like the video,
I want you to come. So I have a great relationship.
Let me know what y'all thought about
it's
this
hard on
interview with
me.
Katt Williams and Shannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
I listen, I understand. I totally understand where you're coming from. But obviously, when truth is being told, you were just the moderator in between giving the individual the space.
Yeah, I heard.
But
this
I
point
talked
here.
to Steve Harvey.
There's some point where he says,
8.8. I've known Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was on the team with my brother in back in 91.
Right.
So I know T. Cruz,
Right.
and he was on the movie. He was a fill-in Training Day.
Mm.
His actual role was, if I'm not mistaken, was next Friday.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I have a relationship with T. Cruz, and so for me, that was the hardest part, is to hear things. But I say,
this
you
where
know what?
Shannon,
I didn't expect. You know what?
y'all
I
that
knew
don't
it
know
was.
this where Shannon Sharpe goes into basically saying the hardest part of the interview for him is that he's cool or has at least some type of friendly relationship with most of these people. Steve Harvey, he got a cool relationship with him. Kevin Hart, he's been to his home, met his wife. He said that the hard part about that was Kevin Hart was trashing those people, and he cool with them. So I don't know if they're going to come back on and do interviews, or maybe they will come back on and do interviews just to rebuttal what Kevin Hart said about them. So already some rebuttals circling the internet. Already some people saying that Kevin Hart is not being 100% truthful. And one of those being a comedian that I like. He doesn't necessarily have the specials or nothing like that, but I like him on the internet, and I think he does that something cool with that court style comedy that he has. I forgot what it's called, but the comedian is Ryan Davis. He has something to say about the interview. He thought it was funny as hell, but he did point out a couple of inconsistencies in the story that just was not true that Katt Williams said, and I thought that was cool of him for keeping it 1,000.
Good in it. I knew.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of knew, but I didn't know.
Now there's Katt Williams. Now there's certain people that you can get that can move the needle. Now there are
Ocho.
certain people you can get that can move the needle. And
CJ told me it's going to be bigger. They still got 20 to 30 minutes worth of questions left.
Right. Yeah.
So Jordan's shake.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, still got 20 to 30 minutes.
I did Club Shay Shay because I was in such a
you like, we done?
I did Club Shay
Situation that happened in Miami.
It's somewhere in the video, y'all. And we're going to look for it in a bit, but it basically goes in for Ocho Cinco saying, like, look, I got some stories about Katt Williams that nobody know, and I might have to say them tonight. He said we're going to go into them tonight. So I think that's the most interesting person I want to hear talk about some shit with Katt Williams, because you can't tell me, Chad, Ocho Cinco is a fake and a phony, and if he say it's true, I'm definitely going to believe it's true, even over one such as Katt Williams. If two people told me a story, one of them being Katt Williams and one of them being Chad Johnson, I'm going to believe Chad Johnson slightly more than I would believe Katt Williams, because he looks at everything through the eyes of a comic. He looks at himself even in a more egotistical regard than Ocho Cinco, right? Somebody that named himself after his actual jersey number. I believe that Katt Williams is more egotistical than even Ocho Cinco. And I would more than likely believe a story from Ocho Cinco than Katt Williams. Not to say Katt Williams isn't a reputable source. I'm just going to go with Ocho Cinco on that one. But we're going to bring up some pieces of the actual interview, y'all. Fair use, fair use. Don't get me blocked on here. YouTube be liking to hit you with the copyright strikes for no fucking reason. Shout out to YouTube. But we're going to get into a reaction of some parts of the interview. I think this is the entire interview. And if it is, that's wild. I didn't mean to pull up the entire interview, but we might as well go into it. Bear with me, y'all, as I pull this up for y'all. Appreciate everybody in the building. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe for me, share. We like to talk about this stuff. Put y'all opinions in the comments below. Let me know what y'all think about Katt Williams. Do y'all think he's one of the top, if not the top, stand-up comedian of all time? Who do y'all think is, if not Katt Williams? Where does he rank in your top 10? What of his story do you believe is true? What do you believe is false? Do you believe everything is true? Do you believe he bullshit? And let me know what y'all think. Try to get this video downloaded for y'all. I think, in my personal opinion, I think like 70% of what he said is true. Do I believe not Michael Blackson? Do I believe that Ricky Smiley was supposed to play the pimp in the movie? I could see that. I could not that I really see that. I think it was a bad choice, but I could see that might have been the initial thought. Because I don't, just like people say, oh, nobody's saying Katt Williams is a liar. The only person I hear calling these other people a liar is Katt Williams. I've never heard anybody go against the fact that Ricky Smiley said that he was supposed to play. I keep trying to call him a pimp named Slickback because of the Boondocks, and it's basically the same character. But Katt Williams and Money Mike, and Friday After Next. So I've never heard anybody say that Ricky Smiley was a liar before that. So I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to give Katt Williams the benefit of the doubt on that without giving it to Ricky Smiley, because they both saying each other is a liar. Now, if two people told me a story, I'm more inclined to believe Katt Williams over Ricky Smiley. So I'm not saying Katt is wrong or lying to us. I'm just saying based off that alone, it's not enough, in my opinion. But we about to get into the interview, the crux of the motherfucking show. This is what everybody wanted to see. And then after this, we're going to get into some of the people's rebuttals on what Katt Williams was saying. Obviously, we're not going to play the whole goddamn interview because it's an hour and we're going to bounce around. And I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube for copyright infringement. So fair use, fair use, fair use.
Side of Kirk Franklin praying. This is the reckoning. 2024.
All my life, been grinding all my life.
We'll skip this.
You can't say my lines, I wrote them.
All right, we too far.
Why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie, but I can tell you this. Lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies.
I know I'm pausing it a lot, y'all. Y'all gonna have to deal with me. But if you watch the interview, you can see Katt Williams was low-key shading Shannon Sharpe. Not super low-key. It's evident that he was shading him a bit. He was trying to come at his journalism skills, and that's why Shannon Sharpe addressed the fact that he's not a journalist. But you could definitely see and feel the vibe throughout the interview that Katt Williams didn't come to play. He don't care that he has Shannon Sharpe crib right now. Like, it's not to the disrespect level of fisticuffs and nothing like that. But he is addressing. He's standing on what he's standing on what he would have said if Shannon Sharpe wasn't there. He's saying what he would have said behind his back to his face, and I respect that because look at Shannon Sharpe, boy. Shannon Sharpe, a big dude compared to Katt Williams. He would fold Katt Williams in a second.
Talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood. They feel comfortable sitting here and lying to you about it.
You gonna set the record straight?
Are you kidding me? You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in. I wish all of America fumbled a bit when that happened. And then he said some stuff that we haven't heard in 100 years in Hollywood. You ain't say nothing. This man told you he had Katt Williams' role. He was gonna be Money Mike.
Wait.
And Katt Williams.
Look, Shannon Sharpe like, wait. He can't even defend himself fast enough. The funny shit is Shannon Sharpe is not an actor. He might have had a cameo or two or been in a commercial or something like that. But he's not naturally an actor. So for Katt Williams to expect him to know the behind the scenes of, oh, nobody will ever switch roles with somebody else. And I don't think that's 100% true. It's a couple of shows where I could think maybe not switch roles, but that was kind of in the mix. Like the bull Jensen Ackles, he was going to play Superman in Smallville, and they ended up giving it to the dude Tom whatever his name is that they gave it to, but he still was in the show. So maybe not specifically the exact same scenario that Katt talk about here, but I've seen similar things happen, and I can see somebody like Ricky Smiley backing down and being okay with playing an alternate role because he probably wasn't right for the Money Mike role. Obviously, Katt Williams was, and that's what shot him to superstardom. I don't care what he said.
Williams was gonna be the Santa Claus. Now let's 3 quick points. You mean in Hollywood they cast a 5'5" black Santa Claus that weigh 145 pounds? That's your story. Your story is the Ricky Smiley that couldn't even do curse words because he had a Christian fan base.
I'm sorry for pausing it so much, y'all, but I got so much to say. So here's where some of the contradictions to me come in. So he's saying that he's 5'5" and he's skinny, so nobody will ever cast him as Santa Claus. Now, at this point in the interview, I'm going to say Ricky, I don't know how tall Ricky Smiley is, and I don't think that the height of Santa Claus is relevant. But as far as skinny, Ricky Smiley might weigh less than Katt Williams, so it's not like he's a believable Santa Claus either. Also, later on in the interview, which we may go to or we may not go into, you can hear Cat Hart. Try to fuse these niggas like Dragon Ball Z. Fusion? No. You can hear Katt Williams say that the role wasn't really Santa Claus-esque. It was one of a crackhead. So that's contradictory in 2 ways because, for one, he's saying Ricky Smiley couldn't play a pimp, but he could play a crackhead. I mean, so that don't add up. If you can play a crackhead, you could probably play a pimp. And also the fact that that it wasn't a Santa Claus-esque role to begin with. It was a role of a crackhead. So to say his weight and his height is kind of irrelevant because he was playing a crackhead dressed as Santa Claus. He was just in the Santa outfit. So it was irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter. He didn't have to look like Santa Claus. You're a black man anyway. How many black Santa? Come on. So again, to me, that was contradictory. I think he was just trying to get his point across, and the point sounded fire when he sent him in his head. And he delivered the shit out of him. But to me, it was irrelevant. Like, what are you talking about? That doesn't mean that he couldn't have been Money Mike. Now, he wasn't right for the role. You was right for the role, but he may have been considered before you.
Gonna play the pimp? Why you didn't ask him why has he played a woman in more movies than he's played a man?
Yikes.
Well, I didn't know
he shouldn't be able. You wouldn't let a athlete that been on steroids talk about one of the greats. Ricky Smiley can't act because Ricky Smiley can't act. He told you the story about when the movie came out. Where did he say he watched it? At home.
Damn. All I can say about that is emotional damage. God damn. Shout out to my janky ass soundboard, but yeah, why he come at Ricky Smiley like that, I don't know. I don't know what their beef is about. I guess because of that one incident almost 30 years ago. I don't know how old Friday After Next is. It's definitely over 20 years old. And we're about to skip around people. I definitely don't want no copyright infringements. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Shout out to Club Shay Shay for this excellent interview. One of the best interviews I've ever seen in my life. I've really never sat down and watched a 3-hour interview unless it was something crazy like a serial, you know whatter. Something like that is very interesting. But this is up there with that. I mean, damn.
It's where he's a believable actor.
Oh.
No matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me
to play this.
To
all right. I'm going to go into this real quick. So what he's talking about right now is that, and this is another contradiction because, so break it down, y'all. Everybody love Katt Williams, right? But break it down. Right here, he says that Ricky Smiley was okay with, and he's going to go into it, Terry Crews's character in the movie was supposed to grape or S.A. Money Mike in that bathroom, right? That's what's supposed to happen, but we actually know what did happen in the movie. He's saying that Ricky Smiley was okay with that. Now, answer me this question. If Ricky Smiley was never supposed to play Money Mike, what would it matter that he was okay with that happening in the script for? Get what I'm saying? Katt Williams is right here telling you, like, he was okay with getting raped in the bathroom. All right, shade to him. But if he was not considered for the role, why would he even have an opinion on what happened in the bathroom with another character? Why would it matter that he was okay with it if he'd been supposed to play Santa Claus? So to me, that was an inconsistency in the story, but I'm going to let it play.
Allow us to do this movie without a black man getting raped in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting raped.
Excuse me.
So considering that's the real story, why would you bring up that story? 35 members of the cast and crew have never brought up that Ricky Smiley was going to play Money Mike.
You hear, like, they never brought it up. Not that it didn't happen. I think that Katt Williams is a little bit downplaying the real situation that took place. Maybe Ricky Smiley did have a role originally, and Ice Cube was just like, look, you're still going to be in the movie. I need you to be in this role now. Like, I hear him saying that's never happened, but I don't believe that because I've heard of stories of this happening where somebody was supposed to be in the role and he started out there. They might have found somebody better and they'd still put you in the movie. I think Loki was supposed to be Thor. Loki, the actor that played Loki, Tom Hiddleston or whatever his name is, he was supposed to be Thor originally. He did a good audition, but he was too skinny. So they told him to gain like 30 or 40 pounds of muscle, right? And he went and did it. But by the time he came back, they had decided to put Chris Hemsworth in the role of Thor. And then he still was in the movie as Loki. You get what I'm saying? So to say that that never happens, I think Katt Williams is being disingenuous there. It definitely happens.
No one ever saw me put on a Santa Claus suit. We got a wardrobe department. They made a Santa Claus suit for me. Why that wasn't in the bloopers? Why? And here's the other thing. Everything that Money Mike said, Katt Williams wrote.
No, that's a
so
fact.
what Ricky Smiley say on his? Movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there.
I don't just like all the Cowboys. Katt, damn, you like this?
No, that's
okay,
not.
What?
He's never been interviewed anywhere.
Ooh.
Is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up people? We do not let people who are on the... It's untrue, and there are hundreds of witnesses for each thing I'm saying.
So let me ask you this. What is your relationship with Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer as you sit here currently?
For 30 years, they're a group. These aren't three random guys. The way that Ricky Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steven said he would tell anybody that, listen, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. Why Earthquake not in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Like, all of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets. And this is the age of truth. And
Yo, why he say Bull can't read? And I love Katt Williams. Love Kevin Hart too, but love Katt Williams. But after what we heard Uncle Shay say about Earthquake, that he a real one, that he's really been cool with him off the show, that sometimes he just texts him and says, yo, keep doing what you're doing, brother. God bless. Not to say that absolves him from scrutiny in his life, but I'm going to say that he seemed like a good brother. And it didn't really seem like it was a reason for Katt Williams to kind of shade him right there. I never heard Earthquake say nothing about him. And it seemed like he could read pretty well to me. So I don't know. I think that was unnecessary. Again, I know everybody has good things to say about the interview. I thought it was the best interview on the internet. And I don't know how long. But the thing is, the best interviews on the internet are going to have some scrutiny. If he didn't say nothing crazy, it wouldn't be the best interview. So that's why I'm a nitpick at. So if y'all don't like that I'm pointing out parts of the story that I thought was inconsistencies or parts that he didn't need to say, then y'all can click on another video. But if you like what I'm talking about, or if you got something to say on what I'm talking about, definitely make sure y'all comment it so we can check it out later. And maybe I could be proven wrong and correct myself. But as far as I'm saying, some of this shit that he's saying is nonsense.
And the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. You feel like, well, why comedy guys can't just get along?
Yes.
Why didn't you get along with the other teams you were competing against? If you're a Denver Bronco, why you don't get along with the Cowboys? Something wrong with you?
The way he's talking to Shannon Sharpe is like they're the same size. And I'm not the biggest nigga neither. I'm only 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. What that mean, Brody? It mean what the fuck it mean. I said what I said. But besides that, I'm not a small nigga besides height. And I still wouldn't talk to Shannon Sharpe like this. Look at this nigga arms in that shirt. He wearing that shirt for his arms to look like that. But if that nigga hits you, it's going to hurt. Don't talk to Shannon Sharpe crazy. Don't talk to Shannon Sharpe crazy.
But I don't disagree. I don't dislike all the
no.
Cowboys. Katt, damn, you like this?
No, that's
okay,
not.
What comedians do you like?
Did you play against the team?
Yes.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay.
I'm not the comedian you can give that to. I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. There's nobody like me in the...
Yo, Shannon Sharpe ain't even catch that he said that. And guess what? The first time I watched this interview, I didn't catch he said that either. I seen somebody post it as a meme. He said, yo, is a fat Faison liar. Yo, why the niggas that was in the Friday beefing? Like Katt Williams beefing with everybody that was in Friday but Ice Cube. I haven't heard him say anything about Mike Epps, but I don't think he's too fond of him either.
Business.
Faison just called a straight.
Faison said that getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0.
So
why is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up?
Yo, Shannon Sharpe ad-libs funny as hell. He said Faison just called a straight. He said, so it can't be that easy. Yo, if y'all know Guy, shout out to my nigga Guy. I ain't gonna name drop too much, but shout out to my nigga Guy. This nigga facial expressions, this nigga Shannon Sharpe facial expressions and mannerisms and the way he respond remind me of Guy. That shit funny as hell.
People, we do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all. As a journalist, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
Oh, man, come on.
Yo, Katt Williams getting outrageous. And well, facts. 500,000 views an hour is bananas. As far as Katt Williams being 95% truthful, I believe that he's telling 95% of his truth. Only believe 70% of it is true, though. And Chad Johnson, as far as him rocking fake jewelry, that's a fact. But he's always been cheap. That's why he one of them football players that never went broke, even though he ain't played 20 years. He still got money because he eat McDonald's still. He chilling.
Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side, period.
So I'm going to speak on that. Excuse me for if this is inaccurate. But somebody posted earlier that Katt Williams was an atheist. Now, I don't believe Katt Williams is the atheist. I never heard him say anything like that. But for him to be saying this right now and to be an atheist doesn't make no sense either. So I don't think that's true. But somebody do some research and let me know if you're really an atheist, and then put it in the comments.
Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2020.
Why they had to be big D deviants, though? I don't know why he said that. I think the cognac is hitting him a little bit.
24. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it. Steve Harvey don't do stand up no more. Say history. That guy, he offered to suck my penis in front of. He offered to suck my. That's my story. That's not his story. We
good now?
Because the people, and they found that out when they gave him all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Shit. I kind of get one here.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, why would he get black?
Nigga, Shannon Sharpe hilarious. Yeah, natural, y'all. Shout out to Shannon.
Yeah,
because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing.
If y'all missed it, Katt Williams just told y'all he paid for information from other celebrities. So if you know something dirty about a celebrity, he'll buy the information from you, not to put it out there, but just so he can't get blackballed. So he'll use it to anti-blackball stuff. So if you know something about somebody, hit up Katt Williams. He might be willing to pay a pretty penny for that information.
Nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike. Because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told them to go get the Prowler. I then told them to paint it purple. I told them don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that
but
no
I didn't
one's
know it
ever
was a
heard.
lie.
Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Katt. Normally when people are giving you information,
I'm not going to lie. I think I remember a time where Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, it might have been in that one movie they together where it's like they robbing banks or some shit. Dirty Cops or some shit. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's a classic. Because people say like all them niggas kind of look alike. I think that it was one of them times where it was like, yo, you should do his role. Like I said, it happened in Hollywood a lot. I hear what Katt's saying, but that shit happened a lot. I don't care what you're talking about. He know better than me, and still I'm talking
and
shit.
live within the religious frameworks of what they had set up. But that was more not wanting to live a double life and not want to embarrass my family. You know what I mean?
Because I read where a form of punishment for you is that they would take books because you mentioned you were such a voracious
or a low.
So Katt not bullshitting about this part. Apparently, Katt been in Mensa since he was 10 years old, and he has an IQ. His IQ is astronomically ridiculous. His IQ is like 163, they say. 163. The average person is like a 90. Katt Williams really a genius. Not just in one field, but he's really a genius, for real. On some, like, he could build a spaceship if he put his mind to it type stuff.
But that's not what I wanted to be.
So your parents weren't as supportive as you would have hoped because you were wanting to be things when you got older that they had no knowledge of, or it didn't exist at the time?
No, it wasn't that. It was, I'm saying I'm almost 100 years old right now, but if we go outside right now, I can run a 4.340 or
Niggas be saying anything, yo. I believe you are a genius and all that. If Katt Williams can run a 4.340, my name is Jesus Christ. I promise you. I promise you. If he can run a 4.340 at 50 years old, I don't care what point of Katt Williams' life it is, but especially at 50 years old, if he go outside and run a 4.340, I will eat my own toenails. I don't believe it. It's not possible. Shannon Sharpe, one of the greatest tight ends ever, never ran no 4.3. And if he ever did, he can't do it right now. And look at the shape that he in. There's no way in hell Katt Williams talking about running no goddamn 4.3. He need to come on now.
Sub, I can do a 4.16 if I'm.
Oh, there's Jimmy John's across the street. We can order a sub.
But
you've been on the submarine. That what you sub?
So back then it was even greater. So you got this guy that all the coaches want to play.
Man, Cass, don't do that.
Hold on, because I'm 5'5" in the 5th grade. I've been this size my whole life. Like, there was a portion of school where I was one of the big dudes. Like, as soon as everybody caught their growth spurt, I was out of there. But I'm saying I was a competitive individual. My father was an athlete.
I can see that.
Like, no, I've been 145 pounds my whole career. That's why I never bothered when they said, your cat's on drugs. I knew, how you gonna prove that?
How you gonna prove that is a wild reaction to somebody saying you on drugs? If you be like, yo, Brody, you ever do a little smack? And I'm like, man, how you gonna prove that? It's gonna look like I be doing that. So, and the reason why people have come out and said Katt Williams appears to be on drugs is because we seen you on camera looking like you might have been on drugs, doing things that drug addicts would do, like fighting teenagers and being locked up for different various reasons that are petty crimes. Guess who gets locked up for petty crimes? Drug addicts. Yeah, bro. He not running no goddamn 4.3. Who do you think he is, bro? Michael Vick ran a 4.3. Who Katt Williams think he is right now? He's wilding.
So you couldn't become. So you would become ineligible. Why didn't you want to take that opportunity?
I didn't see it as an opportunity. When I got in there, all the students were wearing lab coats, and it seemed very confined and restricted, and nobody seemed like they were having fun. It just seemed like everybody was smart. I didn't want that. That wasn't what I was signing up for at all. And plus, I thought that Jesus was my big homie. So you know how you get a story about a dude joined the gang and you get a big homie, right? Like at this particular point in my life, my thought is that the Bible is the greatest book that's ever been written.
Okay.
That it houses the truth, and that it gives you this story of Jesus, and that I'm supposed to be like him.
Okay.
So it's already in my head that as soon as I get 13, I'm leaving.
at 13, you not only like, okay, mom, I'm moving out. You moved from Ohio to Florida on your own. You weren't afraid. I mean, you like, did you?
Hold on.
Did you not have?
So
what were you going? So what were you going to do when you got to Florida?
Don't say I wasn't afraid. There's no such thing as a human being of not being afraid.
Okay.
There are certain human beings that understand that being afraid in no way stops you from doing what you got to do.
Okay.
So I was afraid, but I couldn't be that afraid because I knew what had happened with Jesus. I knew how it worked out. I knew that I wasn't in the wrong with how I was feeling, and I knew that I didn't have any bad intentions in it.
Right.
So I trusted God that it will work out.
Why Florida?
Because if you're raised in Ohio, the one thing on your list is, I'm gonna get away from snow, and I'm gonna get as far. I want to go. Tell me the place. I literally went to a truck stop and I asked all the truck drivers where they was going, and there was one guy going to California, and there was one guy going to Florida, and they told me how long it was gonna take, and so that's why I ended up in Miami, because.
How'd you get there? You caught a bus? Or...
No, I just told you. I was at the truck stop.
So you hitchhiked?
I didn't hitchhike. I got in the back of the dude's 18-wheeler, me and my Rottweiler puppy and my suitcase. Yeah, because I probably had $2,500 on me, like I was shoveling snow and cutting grass. Like I always had pockets full of money.
When did you make the decision that you were gonna leave Ohio and go somewhere? And it ended up being Florida. So, but when did you know that you were leaving Dayton, Ohio, going to Florida?
In my father and I's last interaction, somebody could have not made it. And we both understood.
What's sad about this, and I didn't realize until just now. So Katt Williams saying that he moved out of home when he was like 13, and he was hitchhiking, or not hitchhiking, but he got in the back of a random truck, which was almost hitchhiking to me, semantics, and went to Florida. And he also saying that that's the last encounter he had with his father. Grew up in the home with his father, and the last time he had spoken to his father was when he was 13. I don't know if his father's still alive and they just still don't speak, but at some point they had an altercation where Katt Williams admits that his father was beating him almost to DEATH, if y'all know what that is. If y'all can spell.
That was all bad.
What was the disagreement about?
If you say that my family is very religious, just say I'm not. So anything that I'm going to do is going to fall out of the guidelines.
Right.
But I'm not going to let you tell me what I'm going to be, especially if what you're saying is wrong. I can't condone wrong. And if I find out that something is wrong and I tell you it's wrong and you don't back me, that's what it is. Even
as a young child, you were willing to tell your parents that some of the things that you're saying doesn't coincide with what I've been reading in the Bible.
No, very simply. Don't try to disfellowship me for sexual acts and I'm a virgin. Sorry, God don't make mistakes. You don't get 2 times to fuck me over. What do you mean you went to God and he told you I was guilty? You just lied on God. So long. That's it. There's no conversation.
So basically what I'm getting out of what he said is that his parents said God came to them and told them that he was active reproductively. And he's saying that he wasn't. He was actually a virgin. And they still told him that that's what they believed. And he got in an altercation with his father because of that. So we talked about it on the podcast yesterday. And Honey's point of view was that he was active and his father called him out on it. But from what he's saying, it seems like he wasn't being active and his parents had basically came up with the idea that he was being active, and he battled against that because it wasn't true. And he's saying that they lied on God when they said that God came to them and told them that because it wasn't the truth.
Deuces. That's what it was.
That's when you made the decision. After that conversation right there, you say, "No, I can't live under this roof."
It wasn't a conversation. It was an altercation. In the altercation, I love my father. My father loved me. But we are 2 men at it. It'll never be the same again. You can't sleep comfortably around me. And I can't sleep comfortably around you.
How similar are you to your father?
We're gonna skip around because that was good.
No,
enough
I don't know. He's a great man. And that these people were...
I like that Katt Williams, even though he told his story, he didn't take that time to issue on his father. He still said he was a great man, even though they had that altercation, and he hasn't talked to him since he was 13.
White and black and Asian and Indian. If it ain't weed or nicotine, you won't see me touching it. I don't want no parts. I done seen what these things can do to people. Anything.
This is the part where he tells a story about being homeless in Florida and how he saw what it did to lawyers and doctors and teachers and stuff like that, and how drugs, that kind of scared him away from doing drugs. And like I said, it's multiple instances where even though there's no proof that Katt Williams is on drugs, and I'm not saying we should say he's on drugs, there's no exact proof of that, but he's been caught doing things that would be indicative of a drug abuser, being locked up for petty crimes, looking crazy on camera when you're a multi-millionaire. And this could be anybody. He's a regular human being. I'm just saying it's disingenuous for him to play the role right now like he doesn't understand where those allegations came from. It's not the same as when Dave Chappelle was caught out being a crackhead with no proof at all, nothing in the media, no arrest, nothing like that. Katt Williams actually has a background where people might have thought that, even though he doesn't fit the bill.
That take over your free will is the devil. I didn't know that these people were making a great living at doing this. I thought this is just what they did. They tell jokes. They're funny people. But I love the craft. And that's why when I got into the craft, I thought it was my obligation to make sure that I kept writing new material so much that it forced these...
Or you master it.
How many times have you had to sleep with a woman before you're done with her? Years until I get to the point where I am equally as funny if the room is black as I am if the room is white.
Okay.
That's not enough. Strict, right? I didn't find out about other religions by reading about them. I went to their religion. I don't want to learn from Jewish people from outside. I want to be in a synagogue. I don't want to learn about Muslim people from, I want to be in a mosque. I don't want to hear.
I just found out because I did the research whether Katt Williams was ever an atheist, and I don't see any evidence that proves he was. So I think that post that I saw was just BS. But I do see here that Google reports that at one point he was associated with the Nation of Islam. So he himself did recognize himself as a Muslim at one point in time. So, I mean, we all can switch religion and go back and forth, but I'm not faulting for him for that.
About the Baptist or the Pentecostal, I want to go to their church and see. And so that was the religious discovery that I was on through that period in my life.
When did you know you were funny?
Probably about 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah, about 10 years ago.
So you didn't think as a child, because obviously you said the very structured background, your family was very religious. So obviously you didn't get an opportunity.
I never did a talent show. I was never in any extracurricular activities. I was never in drama. I was never in band camp. I was never a Boy Scout.
You didn't stay in school long enough to get funny because you dropped.
You understand? You understand? So there was no, I don't tolerate high school games. I didn't go to high school. I don't know how most of the games they think I play. I'm not in jokes with a real gun in my real face on real camera. Understand I'm losing my life for participating. We are all individuals and all separate and all our own islands, but not in real life. In real life, it's only 5 or 6 different types of people, and you're gonna see them everywhere that you go. And all my enemies all look the same in the eyes, whether it's Faison, Wanda, Aries Spears, they all look like.
Man, what you got against Wanda Sykes? You think I don't remember that?
Sir? Wanda Sykes and Wanda Smith are 2 separate people.
I mean, Wanda Smith.
And I had only said one name, sir.
Wanda Sykes.
I'm
is
cursed.
amazing. I love Wanda.
And I agree.
I love Wanda. That's
I
my
agree.
girl.
Mine
But
as well.
I remember on the radio, you went on a radio interview. If I'm not mistaken, that's in Atlanta.
Right.
And you came on there with seemingly good intentions. And she attacked you.
It wasn't just that part. It was the fact that before I go in there, she has a conversation about, okay, now, I just want to talk to you because you just won an Emmy for the city of Atlanta, and this is in Atlanta, and they just want to hear about the Emmy and hear from you and to thank you for what you did putting the city on.
Right. Okay.
And we won't talk about your kids. We won't talk about jail, no cases. We ain't going to talk about none of that.
Right.
And immediately gets in there and goes the opposite way. You can't flip up on me because you're an inferior comedian. I'm going to destroy you, and I'm never going to call you out of your name. I'm never going to say anything disrespectful to people that look like you. It's a very thin line. I got a call, but this lady is trying to embarrass me in front of a largely homosexual fan base. That's why she got canceled. Gay people don't take it kindly that you would, as a derogatory, call me gay. Gay people don't feel like it's derogatory. So why are you trying to shame me with something in a community I don't even belong in? There's no gay people saying I belong over there or been over there.
You did
but I have no hatred of over there, and how dare you?
You did a number on it, though.
Hey.
You did a number on it. That's legendary.
No, you either believe in karma or you don't. Because I didn't even know any of the stuff that she had done to my fellow comedians until afterwards. I just know that it was a setup.
Right.
And remember, they tried to kill me this same weekend. Not in jokes.
Who was that?
With a real gun in my real face on real camera. Understand I'm losing my life for participating in something that goes along with my job. Like, it's two comedians. What do you mean? And the world was okay with it because it was me. Had that happened to anyone else.
Y'all, I don't know what he's talking about right now. So if anybody knows what he's specifically talking about, put it in the goddamn comments. Like, if you got a link to any footage that's related to this situation, put it in here so we can react to that. But I might just find it, matter of fact, because I think that's real interesting. I'm going to look for it. But what is he talking about where a weapon was pulled on him on national television? When did that happen? Can anybody verify when that happened? Let me know when that happened. Did y'all see that? Do y'all have any recollection of that? When was Katt Williams on national TV and somebody pointed a weapon at him? I'm looking that up right now to see if that's true. Let me know if y'all know what he's talking about, because I'm looking that up right now. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This did happen. Oh, wow. All right. So we shouldn't have to fair use this, y'all. And I'm going to pull this video up because I want to do a part 2 of this interview reaction. I appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm going to close off with this part right here because this explains his beef with Wanda Smith, who I'm not aware who Wanda Smith is. Does anybody know who Wanda Smith is? Let me know if y'all know who that is in the chat. Who is Wanda Smith? And what does she got to do with Katt Williams? Because apparently her husband... Oh, was that the lady on the radio show? Y'all, in the chat, was that the lady on the radio show that Katt Williams flamed a few years ago? He really torched her because she tried to say his Versace suit was old, and he said her gnarled fingers in his hair and all that. Was that woman? Chat, let me know if y'all can verify. Is that who I'm talking about right now? Is that who they talking about? Because damn, he did flame her real bad. I didn't know it was going to be to the extent where she wanted to get him done with. Let me pull up this video though. Again, fair use, and we don't want any violence on here. So if it's anything violent, I will be skipping through it. And YouTube, excuse me for not following the guidelines if that's the case. But we definitely going to play this right now. I'm guessing that's her husband, y'all. I guess this is in Atlanta. I don't know where this is live at. The only reason I think it's Atlanta is because it say A Live, so I'm thinking it's Atlanta. I didn't see the weapon, y'all. Did anybody see the weapon? I saw him walk up close to him. I guess boy knew what he was doing. He kept it real low. I'm gonna rewind that. Can anybody see where the actual weapon is pulled? All right, you see something going crazy right here. All right, that's what it looked like. It's going crazy. It look like Katt ready to fight bull. I don't see. Oh, okay. I see him go in the back. Yeah, that was her. That looked like the woman that was talking crazy to Katt Williams that just walked back in there. She had to call her husband for that flaming because he ruined her career. I never heard of that woman again. And then he started her career because I never really heard of her before that. It's crazy. He started her and ended her in the same day. But we're going to do a part 2 on the interview, y'all. Like I said, I don't want to play too much of the footage from Shannon Sharpe. Shout out to Club Shay Shay. Don't hit me with a strike, y'all. I ain't got no big channel or nothing like that. But fire interview, and there's more to come. I think we're about halfway through that. So if y'all want to see more of that, like the video so I can do more. My goal is to get 100 likes on this video. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all